Hello everyone, I am
Hi.
here with Rebel Betting Hana. Today we are discussing the 5 most common mistakes that new players make. So I think that the most common mistake that people make is they evaluate their performance too early. So it takes thousands and thousands of bets to actually analyze the data. So unless you really had thousands and thousands of bets, you can't really evaluate how you are doing. So that's I think the most common mistake.
This is super common, and I mean you need a lot of data, and you need it in every sport, every market, and like every bet type. So it's super easy to evaluate your result too early, and then perhaps you decide to like, hey, basketball isn't performing, but it actually is, but you don't really know it yet because you've only placed like 50 bets on basketball. So you should not evaluate too early, and you should definitely not just stop betting on those events or those sports. So yeah, that's a really important thing to know.
Yeah, exactly. And this sort of leads to the second mistake. It's sort of a gateway, which is getting too emotional. So like once you start to evaluate your performance, you sort of easily get emotionally attached to the outcome, and it's not up to us the outcome in the short run. So I mean, we're wired in a way that we want to see results. Like we put in the effort, we are wired to see some results, but it's gonna take some time. Like it might take some time. So that's, I would say, the second mistake is getting too emotional.
Yeah. Try not to have like a mental breakdown every other week. Try to just keep cool. That's the best advice we can give you.
It's like when you're investing, you're not watching your portfolio every single hour. Like just you are like it's gonna take years. You're committing to a process.
Yeah.
So I think the third mistake where this everything leads is quitting too early. Would you say that?
Yeah, definitely. Then it's kind of the same. You evaluate the results and you stop betting, and you're like, hey, it doesn't work. But you haven't been fully committed then. So you need to see this as an investment, and you need to like keep going for the long run.
Yep.
So don't quit.
Yeah. So I think those 3 are really work in like conjunction with each other. They're sort of piece of the same puzzle. So then the fourth common mistake I would say is once you start getting limited, you just quit and you don't use those limited accounts anymore. Whereas actually it might be a soft limitation. You might still be able to bet with that account. You might still be really able to bet with clones of that bookmaker. So it doesn't really quit you from making hundreds of euros of profits every month still. So that's like one pretty common mistake.
Yeah. Keep using your limited accounts if possible.
Yeah. So maybe the fifth most common mistake I would say comes with sure betting. So with sure betting, you need a little bit bigger bankroll, and you need to be extra careful that you're really selecting the right markets. You need to be really careful that you're doing it like as simultaneously as possible, because some markets might close. So then you want to bet on all outcomes of the match. Let's say you bet on one outcome, and then the other outcome closes on another bookie. So you really want to be really careful here. So then you want to cover this outcome on some other bookmaker, and it's. Would you say?
That's a common mistake for sure bettors, especially beginners. But as with time and practice, you will learn to avoid these kind of mistakes, and you will be extra careful when placing the bets. So yeah, it should not be a big issue.
Yeah. Yep. I think the last thing to say with sure betting is you really want to bet first on the bookmaker that is less likely to accept your bet. So that would be like a really soft bookmaker like Unibet or NordicBet or Bet365, something like that. Make the first bet on these bookmakers, and then the second, in ideal situation, you would have on like Pinnacle or Svenska Spel or Veikkaus or something that doesn't limit you. So first bet on those that are less likely to accept it, and then on the more accepted side.
I hope you found these tips helpful. And do you have anything to add?
I think that's 5 pretty common mistakes new
Yeah.
players make. So, yeah.
It's okay to make mistakes, but don't make mistakes twice.
Yeah.
So thank you for watching.
Thanks.
And see you in the next video.
Yes. Bye-bye.